All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your own mortgage calculator as if you had no idea what was going on. First thing, let's go to a browser, URL sheets.new. When we do that, we'll have a new Google spreadsheet. I want to title this document Mortgage Calculator. Good. Do we need to rename the sheet? We don't, but we can. We can say Mortgage Calculator just by double clicking and editing. All right, so we need some input. First, we need a listing price, aka how much does the property cost? So this is kind of the fun part of the project. Go to a new tab and go to Zillow.com and you get to find something. I'm going to do something really quick. You can pause the video and spend some time on this. Beverly Hills. Yeah, let's do Beverly Hills. I'm just going to do the first one to go fast. That looks like a property I can afford. Just kidding. But I'm going to pretend that I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, paste this number, Command C. You can look at the pictures. You can click on this and be like, ooh, pretty, 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 and spend some time really making sure that's the house for me. Who cares if we can afford it? We'll just calculate that. And then if you paste right here, Command V, it looks all weird. So I'm going to Command Z and undo that. If you paste up here in the formula, then it's nicely formatted. Or you can do Command Shift V if you're using a Mac. Next, what we want to do is we need to figure out our down payment percentage. What percent of this basically $19 million do we have in our bank account ready to put down? So down payment percentage. And this kind of overflows into this cell. So I'm going to double click, see how my arrow turns into an arrow, or my cursor turns into an arrow, and then it turns blue up here. Double click and it will auto resize here. I'm going to say I want to pay, let's do 20% down. You need at least 20% to avoid your mortgage insurance, right? So you want like somewhere between 20 and 30% is a good number. I notice that this should be a money number, but it's not. So I can click up here to format as currency, and oh yeah, that looks like a money number now. All right, now it's time to calculate your actual down payment. You have the percentage. Let this Google Sheets do the math for you. So I want to know the down payment, the actual price that I'm going to pay here. And now we're going to start using our first formula. I'm going to type in equals. Whenever I type equals on my keyboard, this is now a formula. I can just click on cells. What cell do I want? I want this cell, and I want to times, so that's Shift 8, times this cell, and that will tell me 20% of 19-ish million is about 3.8 million, and that makes sense, like 38, or 3.8 is, yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so from here, we somehow have this much money in our bank account ready to put down for this beautiful property. Let's pretend, yes, we actually had that money, we paid it off. How much money is left over that we need to borrow? How much do we need a loan for? How much do we need a mortgage for? Again, a mortgage is just a fancy name for a loan for a house. I know it directly translates as death pledge, I guess, if you're looking at the phonetics there. Let's calculate our yearly, or let's pretend we know our yearly interest rate. I'm just going to Google average interest rate in US for mortgage. I can't spell mortgage. What? Really? I am overpaying for my house. Why? It was in 2018. Oh, it's dropped so much. That's because of COVID. Okay, well, that's the percentage. I'm just going to copy, paste, and go with it. Again, I'm going to paste up here so it's nicely formatted. If I didn't do that and I pasted right here, it would look all wonky, too big. Again, paste in your formula bar. 2.98%, sure. All right, that's fine and dandy, but we're going to be making payments every month, so it's handy to know the monthly interest rate. Monthly interest. Did I spell it? Interest rate. Again, a formula. We are going to take this, and that's the yearly, and we're going to divide it by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So this is equal to, and I just click up here and be 5 divided by 12. There's our formula. I hit enter, and it's a weird decimal. Why? Because it's not formatted as a percent. That's why. So I come up here to the format as percent, and that looks about right. Yeah, 3 divided by 12 is reduces to 1/4, and 1/4 is 0.25. So that makes sense. What else is nice to know? We also want to know how many years do we want to pay this off, because when you get a mortgage, they will tell you you need to have this mortgage paid off in 15 years. You need to have this mortgage paid off in 30 years. It's called a fixed I don't actually know this, like a fixed monthly, fixed time. I don't know. You usually have to pay it off in a certain amount of time. So we'll say years to pay off. And usually it's between 15 and 30. Those are the most common. I think 30 is a little bit more common than 15. That's what I'm doing for my house. So I'll do 30, but you can choose 15. You can really choose anything. I think there's some out there that do 20 years, whatever. Okay, but this is not super helpful because we pay on a monthly basis. So again, just like we did up here, we convert from years to months. So we say months to pay off, and how many months are in 30 years? Well, we take equal to this cell B7, so I just click on B7, times, which is shift 8, and 12, because there's 12 months in a year, and it will automatically say, yep, that's 360, which is nice as a formula, because if I change my mind, I'm like, I want 15, it automatically says, oh, that's 180, so formulas, they make your life easier. This is the basic setup. I don't want to change these by accident. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these cells. I'm going to probably double click to make sure it's resized correctly. It already is. Okay. I'm going to right click and I'm going to protect this range just so I don't accidentally edit it later. I can still edit it even if I want to. I'm going to set permissions and just if I do this, I can still change it and nothing happens. I'm just going to make a warning so I don't accidentally do stuff. So now if I were to accidentally hit backspace on 30, it says, no, wait, heads up. You're trying to do things and you shouldn't do that. And you can be like, I know what I'm doing. You can check this and hit OK. I'm going to hit cancel. Like, oop, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. It's a protected. All right, let's do the giant mega table that everyone is maybe has or has not seen that comes with your mortgage. It's like a giant piece of paper that you typically get with your house. First, let's look at your the month number. So I'll just call this a month. Guess what? First one is 1, next one is 2, 3, 4, etc., but we can set up a formula for this. I'm all about the formulas because we eventually want to do something where we click and drag. You can see when I put my cursor in the bottom right over that square, my mouse changed from the normal cursor to this little crosshairs or T, and I drag this down, but it drags down as 4. So how do I make this as a formula so it drags down correctly? Well, instead of doing 2, I'm really trying to say 1 more than the previous month. So instead of doing that, I'm going to say equal to 1 more than this. So I have to do this plus 1. And now if I drag this down, I can drag the crosshairs down. It will actually count up correctly for us. Looking good. All right. Next thing that I want to know is my new interest. Because after your first month, you have gained interest on that loan. This loan is for the bank or whatever institution is holding your mortgage. And they are going to, did I ever calculate my actual mortgage? Oh, Mr. Sindel, what are you doing? I am sorry. Let's come back here. If we have this down payment, how much is our mortgage? I think I probably said it, but I forgot to do it. I'm going to insert one above. So sorry, you'll have to follow that with me. I'm selecting row 5 by clicking on 5. I'm right clicking or double finger on the Mac, and I come down here to insert one above. I know, I'm not supposed to edit it. It's okay. I know what I'm doing. And then right here, I'm going to say, how much is our mortgage? Mortgage is kind of the important thing, the thing that the lesson is all about. How much is left over? Well, what's left over is the original price minus how much we paid for the down payment. So minus this right here. Heads up. I know. And it's thinking that's a percent. No, it's not a percent. It's a money amount. And that sounds about right. We've paid 3.8 million of the 19 million. We've got about 15 million left. That seems right. All right. So interest is gaining. Interest is being added on to this mortgage. This mortgage is now going to increase in price, which is bad because this is a negative amount of money for you, right? I am now negative $15 million, and it's going to get even worse because interest is being added onto this for that institution that is holding on to my mortgage. So how do I calculate that, though? This bad thing that I don't like to think about. It is your monthly interest rate times your mortgage. So I do that as a formula. This is equal to that. It doesn't matter what order I do. I'm just going to say mortgage, this number times, again, shift 8, the monthly interest rate. And I hit enter, and it automatically calculates my new interest. What do we do with this number, though? Well, this number is added on to your already negative amount of money, your mortgage. So let's call this mortgage after interest. So we take our previous mortgage, so this is going to be equal to our previous mortgage right here, and we want to add on, unfortunately, more negative money, $37,000 more worth of interest. So it has gone up, yeah, of course. It was $5,196. Now it's, $15,196,000. Now it's $15,233,000. All right, this is annoying me that it overflows. I'm going to double click here again. Might as well just double click on all of these, huh? I can select multiple and then double click and it does it for all of them. All right, so, but we'll make a payment, don't worry. We'll try to make this thing go down. Obviously, we need to make a payment. Let's say monthly payment. You get to choose what this is for now. Eventually, there's going to be a complicated formula that I will go through and prove what that formula is. But for now, we're going to guess how much we have to pay per month. Well, I have to pay at least $37,000 because if I don't, then this will always go up and up. And if I pay exactly my interest, then it will never go down. And remember, we promised the bank or credit union or whoever that we will have this paid off in 30 years exactly. So I'm going to guess here 45,000. 45, 1, 2, 3. I want to make it in money, so let's make it a currency, format as currency. I think that's my monthly payment. And this is the payment that I'm going to pay the same payment over and over and over again. So my next cell down here is going to be equal to the same thing. And I can just kind of drag this down. By the way, what I'm doing right here is I'm clicking on one cell, I'm holding shift on my keyboard, and I'm then tapping the down arrow key. And if I have a bunch of cells collected and I selected and I hit Command D, it's the equivalent of doing this where I just drag this down. It's the same method, so it's a little bit faster. But anyway, it's kind of nice to have this formula set up instead of copying and pasting, because if I change my mind, I'm like, actually I need about $46,000, they all change to $46,000. Pretty nice. I don't need those for now, but the formula is set up for this one. This one has to be that non-formula because I need at least one. Okay, I've made a payment, so now this interest goes down, or sorry, the mortgage goes down. Eventually I need to have the mortgage paid off, so I need to subtract my monthly payment. So let's title this oh, actually I have one more thing to talk about. Let's skip a cell and I'll talk about it in a sec. Let's call this the mortgage after payment. So this is going to be equal to that mortgage that went up after the interest, but now it's going to go down after the payment. And this is going to happen over and over and over and over again. But I want to talk about, actually, I guess I could have put that in that cell. It doesn't really matter. I want to talk about where this money is going. So $46,000 is being paid into your mortgage, but $46,000 is used up mostly for the interest, because $37,700 was used for interest. So how much money is actually going into your equity? How much money is going into your house and paying off your principal, your mortgage here? You can actually calculate that. You don't need this for the rest of the formula, but it's kind of nice to know that this is slowly increasing over time. Let's title this equity. How much equity in your house are you putting each month? I don't want this to be cumulative. I just want to count each single time. Your equity into the house is, well, I wanted to put $46,000 into the house, but I have to subtract the interest because most of this is absorbed by interest. So I'm only putting in $8,000 of the $46,000 into equity for my house. I'm paying off $8,000 of the original mortgage. That's another way of thinking about it. All right. Now the process begins again. So eventually we'll get a formula. Don't worry. We'll have this so we can drag this down by this step or the next step. My new interest. So the new interest is based off of the previous mortgage, which is right here. So this new interest is going to be equal to our monthly interest rate times our mortgage after our payment. Okay, so that's a new interest. Notice it's gone down a little bit, only by 20 bucks about. So it doesn't go down very fast, you'll see. And then this is being added on to our mortgage. This interest is being added on to that guy. So when you want to say this is equal to our mortgage after our interest is the previous thing plus our current new interest. And it's going to go again and again and again. Again, the monthly payment is going to be a static number that is going to be paid off every single month. This is not going to change. How much money is going into equity this round? Again, a lot of money went into interest, but again, this is equal to. In fact, I can probably just just drag this one down. It's the same formula. Notice that when I drag it down, it changed from F2 minus D2 to F3 minus D3. The numbers increase when I drag down. And you can see a little bit more money, 20 bucks more, because this went $20 down. $20 more is going into your house than last month, which is nice. Okay, and then how much mortgage do I still have left? Well, I had this amount of mortgage, but then I made a payment by this amount, and I had that amount. In fact, I didn't even have to enter that. I could have just dragged this down, I think. If I drag that down, yeah, this is already draggable. So at this point, you might be asking, is everything draggable, Mr. Sandell? Let's select everything and just drag it down. That looks good. That is not good. I didn't ruin everything else. That's good. And obviously, these all got messed up by this thing. I think if this is fixed, everything else will be fixed. Let's try to fix it. So what happened? Let's look. It says B8 minus H3. If I click in here, it tells me what I'm doing. It's multiplying previous mortgage, which is what I wanted to do, times the monthly interest rate, right? Oh, Went down to years to pay off? Okay, so if it went down, we don't want it to go down. This should always be this cell. It's thinking, oh, move everything down. No, we don't want to move down to B8. We want to be B7 forever and ever. Never move from 7. How do we do that? If I come up to D3, because that one was obviously wrong, if I come up to D3, I don't want to move down from 7. So I put a money sign in front of the 7. I hit enter. Now when I drag down, I didn't want to move down. I didn't have the crosshairs. That's what happened there. Now if I drag down, it says, oh, 7, B, money 7, B, money 7. Yeah, the 7 is locked in, and this is the correct formula. And notice that everything is now correct. So what are we going to do? We are going to select everything that we want to drag down. I can either click and drag down, and that'll work. I'm gonna drag down until I hit 360 for my month number, because that's when I should have paid off the loan. That's what I promised the bank or credit union or whoever. So I'm looking over on the left-hand side, and I see the numbers slowly creep up to 360, slowly creep up, slowly creep up, slowly creep up, and we have hit 360, about there-ish. I don't know. Just guess. Oh, that's 365. Let's delete all this stuff. I should have paid off my mortgage by this month, and I haven't. I still have not paid it off. I still have $10 million left. My guess up here, if I scroll back to the top, my guess for my monthly payment was too low. In fact, notice that when I scroll down, those bars went away. Let's drag this freeze bar down so that when I scroll down, that's still there. That looks nicer. Okay, so let's try increasing this, and you can kind of guess and check. What if I change this to for 50,000? 50,000. Now, did I pay it off? If I scroll to the very bottom, now did I pay it off in the correct amount of time? I got closer. I went from 10 million to 8 million. And then this is a giant guess and check game, right? What should my monthly payment really be? I don't know, let's do 60,000. And you keep going, scrolling down. Scroll down. Ooh, that was really close. Maybe it's 64,000. I come up here and say 64,000. Did I pay off to now? Oh, I paid off too fast. So it's around $64,000. In order to get this perfect, to get this number right here to be exactly equal to 0, there's a formula that's kind of hard. You can just Google it, but I'm going to prove it to you in our next lesson. Thanks for watching.